Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about racism, discrimination, and expectations of student achievement. So just to go over some norms today, let's make sure that we keep our cell phones face down. If you need to take a private phone call, go ahead and do so outside. Also, let's remember to respect the speaker. We want to track whoever's speaking and give them our full attention when it's their turn. And remember that we're all here to learn, so please be open-minded to new ideas that people share, and please participate and share your thoughts, and let's all have some honest conversations. So we have some goals today for our professional development, and one of our 3 goals is to identify examples of racism and discrimination in U.S. public schools. We will also analyze the effects of racism and discrimination on students, and we will also explain how multicultural education can be used in classrooms to help support or to negate the effects of racism in public schools. So we have some focus questions, some things that I want you to think about as we're going through the presentation. You want to think about how might racism and discrimination occur in U.S. public schools. We also want to think on institutionalized racism. What does it mean? How does it affect our students? And by the end of this professional development, I hope that as teachers and administrators, what can we do to impact student achievement? Our agenda for today involves an opening activity, recognizing racism and discrimination, learning about institutionalized racism, evidence that U.S. schools are still segregated, effects of institutionalized racism on student achievement, and how teachers and administrators can help. So our opening activity involves looking over these photos provided and answering the following questions. You all have a copy of that handed out on your table. There's handouts there. Go ahead and share those with your group. And go ahead and take a moment to look at these photos. Take about 2 minutes to take a look at each photo. Once you've looked at the photos, there are some reflection questions at the bottom of the page that you need to look at with your partner and decide your response to. We will be having a discussion about those questions in just a moment. All right, excellent. So recognizing racism. What are the characteristics of someone who's racist? Would you consider yourself racist towards your students? What does institutionalized racism mean to you? Please take a moment and discuss these questions with your partner and write down some short responses to these questions. We will be sharing them in just a moment with the group. Racism in U.S. schools. Racism and other forms of discrimination are based on assumption that one ethnic group, class, gender, or language is superior to all others. Discrimination based on perceptions of superiority is part of the structure of schools, the curriculum, the education most teachers receive, and the interactions among teachers, students, and community. But discrimination is not simply an individual bias. It is above all an institutional practice. I want you guys to take a look at the quote I just read and reread that highlighted part and tell me what that quote means to you and how does it relate to your school that you work at. Go ahead and take 2 minutes to discuss that with your partner. We will be sharing with the group shortly. So institutionalized racism is basically racism from an institution due to the power that it has over the people that participate with that institution. Racism is also manifested through policies and procedures we already have set in place in our education system, such as tracking, low expectations of students based on their identity, and inequitably funded schools. So racism has been taking place almost without our knowledge for a very long time.